Story 1. As a man, the only way I know is when someone tells me months later that I was being flirted with. I had no idea and picked up no clues, and the opportunity had passed. At least that's been my experience. Story 2. In early 2017, I worked as a cashier at a wine store. A cute woman came to check out her items and we started talking. She was smiling a lot, and by the end of our conversation she said, "I work at the restaurant across the street. You should come see me sometime." I thought she was just being nice and chalked it up to that. Many years later, after I was already married, I realized she had been flirting with me. Story 3. A fully detailed, signed and notarized document indicating a person's intention to flirt and listing how they will do so, delivered by certified mail or courier at least 10 days before the start of the specified behaviors. Story 4. I'm a guy. There are no clear signs. She might fondle my genitals and say she loves me, and I would think she is really terrible at handshakes. Story 5. All I have to do is wait 12 years after the incident to realize it was, in fact, flirting. Story 6. There is not a clear sign, except when someone says they are seriously flirting with you and not joking or playing a prank. Any behavior can be interpreted as flirting or dismissed as a nervous habit, fidgeting, or paying close attention. For example, I am hard of hearing, so I often lean in to hear better. I make eye contact because I am autistic, but I am told people prefer eye contact to staring at the ground, which is what I usually do when I really want to hear what they are saying. I play with my hair almost constantly because I get anxious and it is soothing. I smile and laugh a lot because people seem to enjoy my company more. I find it best to be straightforward. For example, say I like you. Do you want to get coffee sometime and see if we click? That works for me. Story 7. Girls create opportunities for the guy to make a move rather than make a move herself. Hints are clues, not confirmation. Ask her out. Observe her baseline behavior and look for deviations. For example, she offers food to you and no one else. Signs from subtle to blatant. She compliments your clothing. For example, "Hey, I like your shirt." If she keeps walking, no go. If she stays to chat, stop, talk to her, and get her phone number. Men often assume the girl likes their clothes, not necessarily them. She comments on your hands and gets you to touch hands to compare sizes. She asks what kind of girls you like, who you have a crush on, your relationship status, and so on. She asks what clothes or hairstyles you think look sexy, and sends you photos of herself in outfits to get your opinion. A green flag is if you tell her and she dresses that way, or changes her hairstyle based on you. If she does not change fashion but her friend does, she may have been a wingwoman gathering info for her friend. When you say you like or recommend something, she acts on it. She fishes for compliments, especially if she acted on your fashion preferences. Friendly inquisition. Her friends ask, "What do you think of her name? Is she your type? Would you go out with her?" She sent them as spies. A variation is a friend calling and asking while the girl listens on the line. She pretends to be into the same hobby as you. She really likes you if she tries to beat you at it. She makes excuses to hang out alone, for example study sessions, tutoring, giving you rides, asking you to walk her home. She flirts and asks personal questions. A green flag is if you are not even in the same classes or she does not need help. She asks you to help her with easy tasks or teach her, making simple mistakes so you give her attention and touch her. She is overly grateful and doesn't want you to leave. If you're about to leave late, she makes up an excuse to get you into her room and to lie on her bed, showing you her art, shoes, and so on. She's always around, hoping you'll talk to her. She lingers. After asking you a question and you answer, she's still there. She has no reason to stay after work but stays because of you. If she's at work but says, "When I get off," she likely wants to hang out with you afterward. She preemptively mentions being single, mentions a recent breakup, or brings up your girlfriend or wife to check your relationship status. She gives you her phone number without you asking, or she gets your number from someone else. She texts cute or sexy pictures and invites you to hang out. Key test. When you invite her to hang out in person, she goes and is eager. If she constantly flakes, she may just enjoy attention and not want more. If she acts like this while dating someone else, back off. She brings up a movie, bar, restaurant, or party she wants to check out and says, "But I have no one to go with." She wants you to ask her out. She casually brings up events and gauges your reaction. If you show interest, she suggests you go together. For hours later that night, you might think, "Wait, did she ask me out on a date?" Self-invite date. You mention a cool bar and she says, "You should take me there." Reminder date. She says things like, "When am I going to meet your dog?" Or, "When are we going to watch that television show at your place?" She texts that the party, club, or friend's house she's at is boring and wants you to pick her up and take her to your place. She shares songs, photos, quotes, videos, and stories related to love to test whether you think about her romantically. She writes long messages in your yearbook with her phone number and an invite to hang out. Third-party endorsement. She frames what she wants as other people's opinion. For example, "My friends think we would make a cute couple," or "My mom asked if you're my boyfriend yet, because we hang out a lot." She gives compliments using other girls as a cover. "Girls must hit on you all the time," or "You can get any girl you want." Touching and physical closeness. Hugging and breathing you in, sitting on your lap, holding your hand, putting her arm around you, rubbing her foot against you, feeling your biceps or abs, asking for massages or back rubs and play fighting. Clumsiness or acting drunk as an excuse to lean on you so you hold her and your faces end up close. She complains about being cold. If you're outside, put your arms around her. If you're lying down watching television together, cuddle closer. If she says her hands are cold, hold them. She steals something from you, like a hat, expecting you to chase her and kiss her, or she takes a small item and drops it down her top. She borrows things she doesn't need to create a reason to talk to you. She forgets things at your place so she has a reason to return and see you. The friend fadeaway. At a group outing, her friends gradually leave until you're alone with her, possibly at her house or room. Variation. You show up expecting a group event, but she is the only one there. If you get sick or hurt, she shows worry beyond normal friendship, comes over with food, and plays nurse. She asks you to hold her drink to mark you as her territory to other girls. When she's ready to leave, she asks to split a taxi with you back to her place, not with the whole group. In college, she may ask you to walk her to her dorm, especially if her roommate is out. If she hosts a party, she may shush out other guests at the end and insist you sleep over. If she's dropping people off after a night out, she may drop everyone off first and you last, even passing by your home to get you alone. She claims to miss the last train or bus or says she's too drunk to drive as an excuse to stay over at your place. She brings up sleeping arrangements and insists you share a bed rather than sleep on the couch or floor. She mentions being home alone, roommate away or parents out of town, to encourage you to invite yourself over or to have you invite her to your place. She asks to see your place or invites you to hers. If she visits, she confirms you are alone and asks to see your bedroom. She shows off her body, bending forward to show her chest or butt, showing off her legs, answering the door wearing minimal clothing or a towel, or saying, "Look how short my skirt is," and inviting you to touch. She might say, "I just used a new razor to shave my legs and they're so smooth. Come and feel." She finds excuses to remove clothing, saying she's hot, needs to shower or change clothes, without leaving the room or closing the door. If her bra and panties match, she may have planned to show you. She asks you for help taking her clothes off. "Can you unzip my dress?" Or, "My bra is stuck." She makes overt sexual comments. "I'm so horny. I haven't had sex in a long time." Or, "I've never had sex in this location." She brags about sexual skills or body modifications and invites a reaction. For example, "I give great oral sex." "I've got a tattoo on my thigh." Or, "I have a nipple piercing." Your response might be, "Prove it." Or, "I don't believe you." She makes comments about behaviors being signs of sexual frustration while doing those behaviors herself, like twisting napkins or peeling labels off bottles. She implies ideal circumstances for sex. "We're the only ones here. No one can hear us with these walls. This bed is really comfortable. I'm not wearing underwear. I'm on birth control." Or, "I've got condoms in that drawer." She kisses another girl in front of you to get your attention or invites you into a room to fool around more. One-way threesomes can start. She asks you out directly when she's tired of hinting. Straight talk is the last resort. She says she used to have a crush on you. If she's single, she may be hinting that the crush still exists and you should ask her out. Negative tactics meant to attract guys, but that often repel. She tries to make you jealous by flirting with other guys, talking about how many people ask her out, or bragging about hookups to show she is in demand. This can backfire because women look for social proof in relationships while many men are turned off. She complains about guys hitting on her to plant the idea that you should hit on her. This often backfires because the guy may assume the girl would think he is a creep if he does. She is so nervous around you that she overcompensates by being quiet and unemotional on a date. She insults you as a passive-aggressive way to compliment you, for example, "Oh, you're a player, aren't you?" Or, "You want me to go home with you? You sure you don't have other girls there already?" This is a female approach to giving a man a compliment, couched as an insult. When girls say this type of nonsense, do not confirm or deny it. It can be confusing. You might meet a new girl. She teases you and you feel turned off, and later you find out she liked you. Positive signals. Food, especially if she cooked or baked it herself. Gifts, handmade cards, mixtapes, poems or stories she wrote, and so on. Missed signals? You're not alone. Story 8. Usually a pretty good indicator is when they are on top of you. Story 9. For me, they could explicitly state I am romantically and sexually attracted to you and would like to pursue a relationship with you, and I would still be questioning whether they were really flirting or whether I was reading things too deeply. Story 10. I have no idea. I'm never aware of it until my wife kicks me and asks why I let someone flirt with me. Story 11. When someone tells you that you look amazing and is not trying to sell you anything. Story 12. Any form of physical contact or invasion of personal space, such as touching the arm, knee, shoulder, or similar areas. Story 13. When they find little excuses to talk or to get close to me. Story 14. When a woman plays with her hair, maintains eye contact, or places her hand on you, there is often an unspoken connection between you. You cannot put your finger on it, but you know it is there. Story 15. This is a doozy. I was in college and I knew this girl. She was pretty, smart, kind, and goofy as hell. We got along great and spent a lot of time together, just walking to class or studying. One day she came to me, very serious, with almost tears in her eyes and said, "I just want to let you know I'm transferring to another school and leaving town." Shocked, I asked why. She said it was something she had been planning to do, and the school she applied to had accepted her transfer, so she was moving across the country. Then she looked at me with a sly smile and said she was leaving on Saturday. She gave me her address and asked me to come over. I asked why. She smiled, looked straight into my eyes, and said there was a little something she wanted to do. I told her I could not make it because I had a report due and needed to do research. I would be at the library on Thursday and had work on Friday. If it had been earlier in the week, I would have gone. She said it was okay, but it would have been nice. Then she grabbed my chin with her finger and kissed me. Not quite on the lips, but a brief kiss on the mouth. She said she would miss our time together. We hugged, and I never saw her again. I told my wife that story. I had met her a few months after this, though we did not start dating until 2 years later. She said, "You idiot. She was trying to get you to come over and sleep with her before she left." I was stunned. Story 16. It does not matter how clear the sign is if a man is part of the majority who are oblivious to it. Once I had told a woman that the only sweets I like are freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. An hour later, she texted me asking if I wanted some because she had just randomly decided to make them. I spent the next 3 hours on her couch before she asked me to go to bed with her because she would feel bad if I slept on the couch. She then had to practically slap me awake and tell me she wanted to have sex. But I was still uncertain whether she was actually flirting with me. Story 17. If you are in the same space, a clear sign is someone trying very hard to get your attention. They may also react to everything you do. Story 18. I have no idea. I'm a man, and I'm completely oblivious to anyone flirting with me. Story 19. I rarely flirt, but I was in my local art studio the other day. One of the instructors has ungodly wavy hair, and I have a soft spot for it. He asked me how my personal art time was going, and I told him I had an off day and did not create anything. It happens since I am not as skilled as he is. I do not think he picked up on it. Basically, if I compliment you on your skills, abilities, or intellect, I am flirting with you. I do not think there is a clear sign of flirting because people mistake my friendliness for it all the time. I am just trying to be a polite, decent person. Story 20. There is a certain tone that people use that is a little more sexual than a regular speaking tone. It is very attractive and is usually used only in sexual contexts, including flirting. Story 21. If someone glances at you multiple times and maintains eye contact. Story 22. I'm not sure, because people around me say that my closest friend is flirting with me simply because he listens to everything I say, even when it's about my strange interests or complete nonsense. So it could be. Story 23. She takes off your glasses, puts them on, and looks up at you through them. Story 24. Eye contact, engagement, and lip flexing are cues. It's not always about what they are saying. Body language can be very flirty. Story 25. There is no single way. Different people flirt in different ways. That's the point. Plausible deniability. Otherwise, instead of flirting, they would simply ask the person out. Story 26. When I met my partner a few years ago, I was still smoking cigarettes and he vaped. He used to come out to the patio since we were new housemates and would ask me for cigarettes. I thought he just liked them occasionally. It turned out he did not like them at all and only wanted to spend time with me. Story 27. If it is me, the only clear sign is when I say the words myself. I already flirt with everyone and tell them I love them, so unless I explicitly say that I mean someone more than usual, no one pays much attention. I do not know why, but I built my personality around hyping people up and making them laugh. Maybe I am projecting something deeper. Story 28. Men suck at flirting. I have heard this before, so I guess what was said was flirting. Story 29. I'll never forgive myself for the time I was a teenager when the cute subway worker asked me many questions unrelated to sandwiches and told me her name at the end. I thought she was just being nice, and after I finished my sub I felt too awkward to go back and give her my number. I may be an idiot. It's okay to call me that. Story 31. They may touch you. In normal conversation, the vast majority of people will not touch you at all, but someone who is interested may touch your hand gently to get your attention or during conversation. 2. They will drop hints about activities. This is typically to see if you will ask to join them. Another obvious sign is if someone is always around more than by chance. 3. Other physical cues, such as prolonged eye contact or fiddling with their hair, are hard to detect or interpret. 4. I am not sure if this applies to younger generations who date and flirt behind screens and who matured during coronavirus disease 2019, so they may have underdeveloped social skills. Story 31. I was at a local pub the other day. It was slow. I ordered a couple of appetizers to go and was enjoying a Jack and Coke while I waited. The bartender was very chatty, and I wasn't interested in talking. She kept asking questions and smiling a lot, not really tending to the other people at the bar. She brought my food out and asked for my phone number to add me to the specials and events text list. I declined, paid my tab, and left. When I got home, I explained the interaction to my wife. She laughed and said the bartender had been flirting with me. I hadn't realized it. I've been with my wife for almost a decade, and I guess I just don't notice anymore. Story 32. There are no 100% clear and reliable signs because that is how flirting works. If it were direct, someone would simply say hi and ask if the other person wants to go out. Flirting is behavior under the radar that people use to exchange signals and assess potential before making a more direct approach. That is the point and the benefit of flirting. It can always be plausibly denied. Story 33. When they hand me a 182-page legally binding contract, fully detailing their feelings for me. Until then, I'm not quite sure. Story 34. As a woman, if I am flirting with you, I get touchy, especially on the arms. I will also be looking at you, not at my phone. Story 35. 1. Get extremely drunk. 2. Drive a car and hit a road sign that slashes your tire. 3. Call a ride-sharing driver and have him help you change your tire. 4. If he is attractive, tell him how cute he is and that you are very attracted to him. I was the ride-sharing driver in this scenario, and I am not kidding. This really did happen. Story 36. Any physical contact or invasion of private space, such as a touch on the arm, knee, or shoulder. Story 37. Reddit. Come on. You are not this helpless. I was on a thread earlier about a man asking if pictures of his wife in a group were suspicious. People were able to point out visible flirting. The most common signs of flirting. Maintained eye contact during conversation. Most people look away every now and then and focus on random things. When someone holds intense eye contact, they are listening intently. Direct attention does not always mean flirting, but it can be a symptom, especially when paired with other signs. Laughing or smiling a lot at small things. If they consistently laugh or smile at what you are saying. Obvious, intentional touching. Playfully hitting someone's arm, touching their back when they move past you, and similar actions. Continuous engagement. They try to keep the conversation going and return to what you are saying, even in group settings. It all comes down to the level of attention. If someone is paying obvious attention to you, laughing or smiling a lot, looking for ways to continue the conversation, complimenting you, or acting impressed by something you are doing, those are signs they are giving you intentional attention and are usually signs of flirting. Story 38. Do you want to get a pizza and fuck? Why? You don't like pizza? Story 39. When their texts suddenly contain too many emojis and none of them make sense. Story 40. I am a man. I do not consider myself particularly good-looking. I am shy and fairly introverted. Unless someone explicitly signals flirting, I assume nobody is flirting with me. Story 41. When my wife and I first started dating, we would hang out and watch movies. She would lean in and rest her head on my shoulder. That led to cuddling and many outings around town. Took me 5 months to realize that she liked me. Story 42. I told this woman once that I liked her upside-down crucifix necklace and she said, "You should see it when it's the only thing I have on." Story 43. A volunteer read my blog and told me she thought it was hilarious. I had not shared it with her and we had barely been acquaintances. We both worked at a large call center and had a mutual friend, so we had spoken only twice. It did not occur to me until years later that no one would read a coworker's blog unless they had some romantic interest. She was very attractive, so I assumed she was out of my league and did not consider romance. That happened several times when I was young. Story 44. Men are usually far more overt and vulgar with me. I get catcalls, "Hey baby," and people hanging out of car windows making a V with their fingers and sticking their tongues between them, saying, "Yo, that's what I want to do tonight." Story 45. In the gay world, eye contact is important. There are several great videos of Mateo Lane in which he discusses this gay superpower. Story 46. The one time I was almost certain a girl was flirting with me. She sent me a smiling face with hearts emoji. We went on a sort of date, and she texted me saying she liked somebody else. Or there was a different reason I was not told, which is what I am going with at the moment. Story 47. A girl gave me hungry eyes within seconds of meeting her. I am not usually good at picking up hints, but it was obvious to me in that moment. I was right. It was an unforgettable night. Story 48. I'm really bad at reading the clues when someone is flirting with me because it happens so rarely. Story 49. As a man, if a woman shoved me against a wall and said that she liked me and that we should date, I might take the hint. Story 50. You can feel great chemistry with someone. It doesn't really matter what is being said. It's the body language, vocal tone, and how you make each other feel. I could be talking about cardboard boxes, but if I have chemistry with that person, I will find myself consciously wanting them physically because of the box talk. Story 51. They turn to look at you, smile for a second, then look away. A little while later they do it again. Story 52. How do I make a guy realize I'm flirting with him? Story 53. Think about the clear signs you give when flirting with someone. Story 54. Oh geez, I wish to God I knew. Thinking back many years, I can think of a few women who may have been, but I had no clue. I still do not know. Story 55. It used to be a smile, paying close attention to you, playfully touching you. Nowadays, who can tell if people are genuine? There are so many scammers and pranksters. When you sense someone flirting with you, you should cautiously explore the opportunity. Story 56. On behalf of the guys here, heads up. Ladies, we have no fucking clue. Story 57. You look spectacular even when you have not showered. You glow as if you stepped out of a high-fashion shoot while just rolling out of bed. Your messy hair reads like a deliberate masterpiece. You smell amazing after sweating as if you had worn 10 sweaters. Your presence turns everyday chaos into a runway moment. Story 58. If they say something very flirty or tease me with that look in their eyes. Story 59. Just lie there and think about all your interactions and texts. You are bound to have a realization. Usually this happens after you no longer talk to the person. Story 60. We had a fancy work dinner a few months ago, and a woman from another department told me, I'm aging like fine wine and don't have a single wrinkle while asking to touch my dimples. I'll be 32 this year. I didn't realize it until a few weeks later when I saw her again and told a friend what she had said. Story 61. Once I was performing oral sex on a woman, and she asked if I wanted to go to her parents' cookout. I said no, I am not hungry anymore. Story 62. From my experience, someone who does everything to match your likes and dislikes is likely flirting with you. Story 63. They directly ask me out. Otherwise, I see it as being nice, which is always appreciated. Story 64. People are different and show interest in different ways. The easiest way to know if someone likes you is if they tell you, and the same applies when you like someone. Story 65. I have no idea, and that has been a problem. However, I think it is just because no one has been flirting with me. Story 66. A useful first question is why you want to know whether someone is flirting or just being friendly. Do you mean are they interested? Are they a flirt? Or is this flirting, and how should you respond? Deciding whether someone is flirting and understanding what it means are different questions. A clear sign of flirting is when behavior crosses from friendly to suggestive. If a person persistently increases the level of suggestiveness beyond what you will accept, they are likely flirting. Story 67. They clearly indicate they are interested in sexual activity with you and would like to know how receptive you are. Story 68. They asked you to the prom. When you asked if it was platonic or romantic, they gave a shy, non-committal answer. They always held your hand and always complimented you. Come to think of it, I do not know. Hypothetically. Story 69. For me, it takes someone explicitly telling me that they are flirting with me. I am pretty clueless with that stuff, and on top of that, I go out of my way not to jump to conclusions. Story 70. It depends on the environment. In my experience, women can become touchy. If you crack a joke and she touches you on the shoulder, back, arm, or similar, then she is flirting. Story 71. Makes cringeworthy comments about your appearance. Tries to pick people up here and there. Talks non-stop. Then suddenly ghosts you for other women. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.